Hi, I'm Elaine Halligan from the Parent Practice, and I'm going to share with you how to deal with a situation when you're living with a child with special educational needs. Do you ever find when your buttons are pressed, you can't stay calm and access the skills, and it's almost impossible to behave in a calm, compassionate or measured way, and this happens a lot if you're living with a child with a hidden disability? Well, 12 years ago, when our son was 7, his behaviour was very challenging. He still is now very dyslexic, and back then he was diagnosed with so many labels: autistic spectrum disorder, attention deficit disorder, oppositional defiance disorder. The long shot was he felt very different, and actually he thought he was a bad person. He was a very angry young boy. We as parents struggled with him, and we received much conflicting advice. Travelling on public transport was a complete nightmare. He was all over the place. It was sometimes dangerous and always embarrassing. And a trip to the supermarket, it just required military precision. By the age of 7, he had been to 3 schools, and we spent a lot of our time catastrophizing, assuming he'd never be successful. And we did think if he carried on with this behaviour, and this is not an exaggeration, we thought he'd end up in an institution for delinquent children. But we as parents didn't give up on him. As parents, we kind of sensed that he was a good, capable person. The analogy I use is I had a rock covered in mud. But over time, we reframed our assumptions, we made our expectations more realistic, and we started to peel back layers to discover a little diamond underneath. And when you're able to let go of your assumptions and look upon your child, and this is what parenting guru Bonnie Harris says, look upon your child as not being a problem but having a problem, only then can you start to parent effectively and with more empathy. I can tell you what has worked for us over the last 10 years. Positive encouragement, giving him responsibility, ensuring independence, helping him understand and accept his feelings of difference, his anxieties, his frustrations and anger, and helping him learn from failure and bounce back from setbacks. We started building up his self-esteem, and when a child's self-esteem is strong, you find there is no glass ceiling for a child when they believe in themselves. Delighted to report that our son has just finished his schooling, and having been elected head boy in his final year, this is a real testament to the power of parenting input to enable a child who's experienced much failure to overcome difficulties and bounce back. Every parent dreams of helping their kids have successful, fulfilling lives, and they know that this involves building confidence and resilience. For those of you who do have a special needs child, I want to share a wonderful story written by a lady called Emily Kingsley, also a mother of a special needs child, and it's called Welcome to Holland. And these are her words. I'm often asked to describe the experience of raising a child with a disability, to try to help people who've not shared that unique experience to understand it, to imagine how it would feel. And it's like this. When you're going to have a baby, it's like planning a fabulous vacation trip to Italy. You buy a bunch of guidebooks, you make wonderful plans, you get really excited about seeing the Colosseum, the Michelangelo, David, the gondolas in Venice, and you learn some handy phrases in Italian, and it's all terribly exciting. After months of eager anticipation, the day finally arrives, and you pack your bags and off you go. And several hours later, the plane lands on the runway, and the stewardess says to you, "Welcome to Holland." Holland, you say? What do you mean Holland? No. I signed up for Italy. I'm supposed to be in Italy. All my life I've dreamed of going to Italy. I'm sorry, madam, but there's been a change in flight plan. We've landed in Holland, and there you must stay. Now, the important thing is that they haven't taken you to some horrible, disgusting, filthy place full of pestilence, famine and disease. It's just a different place. So, having arrived in Holland, you must go out and you must buy a new guidebook and you must learn a whole new language and you'll meet a whole new group of people that you would never normally have met. There's nothing wrong with Holland. It's just a different place. It's not where you expect it to be. It's slower paced than Italy, it's less flashy, it's not as glamorous. But you know something? After you've been there for a while and you catch your breath, you start to look around and you begin to notice Holland has windmills, it has tulips, it even has Rembrandts. But meanwhile, everyone you know is busy coming and going from Italy, and they're all bragging about what a wonderful time they had there. And for the rest of your life, you'll say, yes, that's where I was supposed to go. That's what I had planned. And I think the pain of that never ever goes away, because the loss of that dream is a very significant loss. But if you spend your life mourning the fact you didn't get to Italy, you may never be free to enjoy the very special, the very lovely things about Holland. What magical words Emily writes, doesn't she? So my message to you is this: keep developing that parenting practice. And if you're doing any of our courses, either online in the Parenting Academy or face-to-face, do take a look at Module 10, because whether you're living with a child with special needs or not, all our children at times will press your buttons. And if you can just look to having more realistic expectations and perhaps reframing those assumptions, you'll find your buttons are pressed less. I hope you found this useful. And if you'd like any other great ideas for bringing out the best in your children, take a look at theparentpractice.com.